Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. In conjunction with Football Talk on Facebook, I'm joined by Sam and Andy. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. Good.
Glorious Saturday out there, isn't it? It's been really crap, the weather recently, isn't it? You know what I mean? A bit of sun.
Freezing. Yeah, nice to see a bit of sun. Get a bit of brown tan going on.
Yeah, well, when we get this done as well, right? So, Spurs fans, how are you feeling about the start of the Premier League next weekend? Or actually, midweek, isn't it? Because we've got Arsenal versus Man City. What do you make of it?
Yeah, well, I just think it's a bit too early, Matt. Personally, I say we can take the lead off of the Bundesliga, and they seem to be doing things right. And if they're doing it right, then the Germans don't often get much wrong. So, but I still got a little bit of feeling it's a little bit too early, and I've always been in that camp. I started off as a null and voider. I think we all did, didn't we? Just to stop Liverpool getting that title, or getting the asterisk next to their name. But, they're going to win it. They're going to win it. But I just think it's going to be a little bit too early to start up again. But I'm looking forward to it. There's no doubt about that.
I think people are going to be a bit wary of how it's going to be. Obviously, you're only allowed a certain amount of people in the stadium in certain areas. It's going to be strange.
Yeah, very strange.
It's definitely not going to feel right. But no, football's back, so.
And also, the problem you're going to get is Liverpool fans will say they won't do it, but there'll be loads turning up for the day that they win that league. If they win it at Goodison Park, there'll be thousands there, won't there? So that could be a problem for the police.
Talking about, I think it was the game we were talking about a minute ago in La Liga, and they had loads of people trying to get outside the stadium and stuff, and they're worried about that over here. And what do you make of that? I mean, and the fact that you said about it being a bit weird, they're going to actually push out FIFA sounds around the stadium.
Yeah, they've done that in La Liga in the game. They played artificial crowd noise, and a lot of fans were texting in saying it doesn't feel right because there's no fans there, but it sounds like they are. It just feels not normal.
You've got to get it at the right time, though, haven't you? It's all right having crowd noise, but you've got to coordinate.
Yeah.
I'd rather just listen to the players and the coaches.
Yeah, at least then you get some sort of understanding of what they're talking about. Obviously, you can't predict if they're going to swear or not. But
they will swear.
Well, obviously, yeah.
Not, can they? It's an industrial game, like industrial language. But I'd still rather see that than listen to artificial crowd noises.
Definitely. But have you seen in that Porto game? They had there were a bunch of fans up on the roof. Yeah,
up on the roof, setting up
Yeah.
It will be an issue. People turning up. It will definitely be an issue with. I mean, you'll say Liverpool fans will say, "Well, they won't," but they definitely will. The day they win the league, they'll turn up mass in their thousands at wherever stadium they're going to be.
With all these protests going on as well, it shows that they're quite happy to let people sort of come together in a mass group. It just depends whether they're going to enforce it or not.
You can't stop it. How do you stop it? Impossible to stop it. You just got to hope people are sensible.
Well,
English.
I think at the start of the coronavirus outbreak, and I think the Champions League game, it was PSG versus Dortmund. A shite load of fans outside. I think that's sort of happening again, especially like you say for Liverpool because it's their first title in the Premier League in 30 or so.
Yeah, they'll never stay away. It's impossible for them. We'd all be the same. If it was Spurs, I'd be the same. I think I'd go to the ground. It's all right, people saying be sensible, but how long?
It's a historic moment.
30 odd years Liverpool, so it's just a moment for them, isn't it?
First ever Premier League, yeah. It's an historic moment. So of course you're going to be here. You want to see it?
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about Tottenham this season? Especially, well, look at this. Before the coronavirus outbreak, Spurs had a lot of injury problems. It was like 10 players back. We're talking about Kane and what do you make of your chances now to push back into the top four? Hopefully.
Well, it definitely came at a good time for us. No doubt about that. I couldn't remember the last game we won before but we were on a pretty bad run. We started off well under Mourinho. Had a little bit of him, he gave us a little bit, turned us around a bit, made us harder to beat, which is what he does, doesn't it? Really, he's a pretty defensive coach. People weren't really. I wasn't happy about the appointment, but in those first 8 games, he did well, and then it sort of fell apart a bit. With a lot of injuries, and then the break came, which has done us good. Whether we can pick up the ground, it's all right saying we've got all the players back, but you just don't know how these teams are going to be when they come back. We don't know how Man United are going to play. We don't know how Spurs are going to play. They lost. They had a friendly last night. Lost 2-1 to Norwich. Although it was a 4-quarter
Mickey Mouse game sort of thing. Problem is, with social distancing measures in training, you can't train properly neither. So you can't enforce exactly how you want to play on the pitch because you physically can't. You're legally not allowed to. But I think it was less the appointment of Mourinho more than the way it was done. Because obviously they sacked Poch and then 6 hours later they're appointing Mourinho.
Well,
so there's obviously something going beyond the back.
Same night. I think he got appointed the same night, so they're obviously working behind his back. Unless Pochettino knew something about it. The rumour is that he wanted to go to Man United last season, but they wouldn't let him go. And this funny, he's paid £12 million to not go to another club for 6 months. That's a strange thing to do, isn't it? Really.
You know what? A theory I've got maybe of where he might go. Newcastle.
It depends on this takeover. He wouldn't go there if the takeover didn't come on. He wouldn't be thinking of going there. I mean, this takeover seems to be taking a long while.
I personally don't think it's going to go through. It never seems to.
It seems to be stalled.
Trouble, don't they? They tried to get Man United and that got snubbed out, and then now it's Newcastle. Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of background noise about them. People aren't too sure what, because there's a lot of worry about themselves as people and what they do and what they're involved in.
Saudi Arabians, aren't they?
Yeah, I think the FA have said if this takeover goes through, then they will be writing to whoever needs to be written to about what they do, and they're not very happy with it.
Who are they going to write to?
The police, the God.
Mike Ashley. Yeah. I think it's got Saudi Arabian. They've got a terrible human rights background.
Yeah.
But who knows? I mean, if they just because they're going to get all this money coming through, you still got the
financial fair play.
You know, and it takes time. Look at Man City after the old oil money came in. Or wherever it took over, I can't remember his name. Yeah, Abu Dhabi. It took them quite a few seasons to get things going.
Oh yeah. You know what the good thing for Newcastle is if you look at their history of how many people go to their games, especially in Championship, sell out their stadium, which is much more than what Man City can even do. Like when they're in the Championship, they've definitely got that platform where they can actually be in the.
Yeah, in that term, they're a big club. You know, the support. When you look at it, there's not. It's because you've got, say, Man City, they've got Man United on the doorstep. Liverpool and Everton. Big cities have a lot of clubs. And Newcastle seems to be. They've got even Middlesbrough down the road, but they've got. Hang on, mate. I've just got this. So I've rejected it. I've got better things to do. They sort of got the monopoly on things up there, haven't they? And they're a great historical club. And they're desperate to get rid of old Ashley. He seems to sort of just invest no money in the club whatsoever, although God knows how many millions he's got. But I saw an interview with him on Sky a couple of years back, and he was saying that he's asset rich. He's got a lot of wealth all tied up.
But it's not physical money.
Cash-wise, he hasn't got a lot. So, you know, what can he do?
Do you remember when they tried to change St James's Park to the Sports Direct Arena?
Sports Direct.com Arena.
That didn't last very long, did it?
We can't do it. It's like with Tottenham, with their new stadium, they still haven't got any naming rights. And whether they will or not, I don't know. Financially, surely it's got to be good to get a sponsor for the stadium. But it goes against the grain. Like, you know, it's still the thing we've got with Spurs, it's on the site of the old ground. So we haven't got, you know, we've still got that history behind it. But to call it the Nike Stadium or something like that would go against. Well, you wouldn't call it that, would you?
It'll always be known as White Lane.
It wasn't exactly like a rumour that they were going to call it the Google Stadium. Is that correct?
There's been loads of things flying about. Loads of things. There was Uber, Google, Nike. It's never seemed to end. Football. Yeah,
a lot of it's to do with the American football and you know the deal they've got going with them. But I don't know. I'd rather leave it. But it's financial. I reckon it's worth millions. Look at the Emirates. You know. God knows how much money they make on that. Don't spend a lot of it, but there you go.
Yeah, he's waiting for the right deal, isn't he?
They they make the most profit on match day, like
hospitality and that kind of thing.
food and everything. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, Spurs, Sam will probably know the figures better than I do, but they were saying it's ridiculous money they make on alcohol, because the new stadium, it's more like a shopping centre. When you go in there, it doesn't feel like a stadium. It feels like you're in like a shopping centre with restaurants and bars. And there's no waiting. It's all, they reckon it's gastronomical, the money they make just on hospitality and that sort of thing.
Well, I think in just one match there, I think just through pulling pints, you're making 200, 400 million. It's insane. It's insane.
It's silly money.
Mm.
And they've got this policy where they don't keep you in after the ground, but all the bars and restaurants stay open for 2 hours after the game, so to keep you in there to earn more money. Plus, you haven't got to rush off to public transport.
Plus, the prices themselves are actually quite good.
Quite reasonable.
£4 a pint. You can't complain, really.
No.
I like how
matches
cups, the cups that they use, and they just come up from underneath the beer. That's pretty cool.
So there's like a little hole in the bottom, and then obviously it comes up through there. And they put a little magnet underneath. But yeah, it's nice to just tip it, isn't it?
The trouble is with the magnet. As you drink your pint, someone pushes it and it all pours out down. Some joker, me normally, pushes the magnet and it all comes out down your shirt.
Yeah, it's quite clever though. It's clever.
Yeah,
seconds.
Never seen it before.
It's all contactless as well, isn't it? It's all contactless.
Yeah, all contactless. So no cash. 2 reasons. Obviously, it's all agency staff behind the bar, so they obviously, for security reasons, they don't put any money in their pocket or whatever. But also, it's just the speed of it.
The speed, yeah.
About the change. I don't think I've ever queued more than 2 or 3 minutes to get a pint. Probably less than that, because they're constantly with this new pump system. They're constantly just pouring pints and then just passing them over. And with the contactless, you're done and dusted, sort of thing. So it's very good in that respect.
Before the stadium, you probably was waiting like a long. I mean, I remember going to games like that haven't got them facilities, and it's ridiculous, like 30 minutes, 40-minute wait.
Well, you wouldn't bother going. Sometimes at half time, you think, well, there's no point going, because I'm not. By the time I get a drink, I've got to drink it, and I get back to the thing. But there's none of that. I mean, you could have
the last
if you was that way inclined. If you was that way inclined, you could get 3 pints down your neck at half time easily. We've proved it. But yeah, it's good in that respect. It's a cracking stadium. There's no doubt about it. I mean,
you can tell it's been built for the fans. It's not been built for football or anything like that. It's been built specifically for the fans' comfort, and you can feel that. Even the seats themselves, they're nice. Just everything about it. It's just comfortable.
It's just comfort. Loads of leg room. It's the most modern stadium there is, because obviously it's the newest one, and it's a lot of it's built for the American football and things like that. That's hence all the bars and restaurants. But yeah, it's amazing, and you can walk all the way around the ground, so you're not restricted to the area you're in. You can go and meet your mates down the other end of the stadium if you wanted to, and use their facilities, which is a nice touch, rather than just being stuck in one little area.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So what you making? You guys. I was going to ask you before that. Actually, we'll get into that at the end. What was the last game you two both went to then at the new stadium?
Yeah, I've got a season ticket, so I can't remember. What was the last home game? I can't remember, to be honest. The last home game, it's that long ago.
Well, we was meant to go West Ham, weren't we?
Yeah, we was lined up to go West Ham, and that was then the lockdown came and it got cancelled. I can't remember the game before the last game, but it was on a bad run. The last game I went to was the FA Cup game, and we lost to
Norwich.
Lost to Norwich on penalties.
Yeah.
You'd have been playing Man United if you'd have won that. It'd have been a double whammy. 1 week.
Well, it's almost like a bye then, really.
I'll take that.
You've got to be pleased with the way Man United are going at the minute. He's doing all right. What's your thoughts on him, old Dolly?
God, brilliant. It's been up and down, obviously, the last few years. Like how he had that really amazing run when he first come in, and then suddenly at the end of the season it dropped. And
yeah, well, that got him the job, really, didn't it?
I think that was intentional, though. If you look at the run of games that Man United had, it was going to make him look good. You were guaranteed a fair few amount of points in them run of games, and it just made it better than it was. Personally, I think he's turned it around now. Something seems to be going right. Obviously, the game that Man United played yesterday, I think it was, they had Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing together for the first time. Ended up losing, though.
right. We can handle that.
Well, he's hit the ground running, isn't he? Fernandez. He's hit the ground running. Fernandez. I mean, he looks a good player. There was some room last season Spurs were going to buy him, but we decided not to. He didn't. More likely, he didn't want to come. But he looks a good player. But Pogba's an issue, isn't it? How do you get him playing? Will he leave? Will he stay? I don't know. Do you want to keep him?
Because of the current climate, I think his only option is to stay. I can't see Real Madrid going in for him. They'll want about 120 million at the very least. I can't see it happening. And it looks like they're trying to go for like Van der Beek. They're in a battle between Barcelona and Man United.
Well, that's been going on for years since. Before I think Tottenham played Ajax in the semi-final. Real Madrid were rumoured to have an agreement with Van der Beek, but that seemed to go quite. I don't know. I think he will eventually go there.
Just the wages. I was just saying, Man United and Arsenal are always linked with the top players. Liverpool, sorry. Probably Man United can definitely afford to pay the wages. Liverpool, I'm not so sure. They might have a bit more of a structure in place. Spurs have got a bit of a wage cap. I think the highest paid player at Spurs is Kane.
Harry Kane, 220, I think.
220. I think there's three of them, aren't there?
Ndombele, Kane and Lloris, I think.
The three highest players. They won't. I mean, it's a massive amount of money, but clubs do pay more than that.
Compared to what every other club is paying, we're minuscule. Absolutely minuscule. And that's been our downfall, really. I mean, we have the finances to go and do it, but at the end of the day, Daniel Levy is a businessman. He's not a football man. He's purely on the side of business. If it's not right for the club or for him, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, but if you look at it, say 220 is the highest. I think the next step down is about 90,000 a week. It's a massive difference. Unless you're doing well, that must cause a rift in the dressing room. It must be, mustn't it?
Well, I imagine there's a lot of
unless you're winning games.
I imagine the way we work is a basic salary and then a lot of bonuses, so win bonus, goal bonus, clean sheet bonus, things like that. It's a performance and bonus, isn't it? It's a performance bonus. So if you play well, you get rewarded for it.
If it's win bonus, they ain't a lot recently. Not just because COVID-19, but the way they were playing before it happened. I don't think they won a game for that 7 games. Yeah. Ridiculous.
They must have won a bonus or got something for getting to the Champions League final, and they've just gone, you know what?
Oh, yeah, must have done, yeah. Well, that Champions League final, we was robbed. Never
handball. We were robbed. Never handball, no.
I'm still not having it. I'll think about it every day. That was not handball.
Did you guys
wake up? It's not handball.
Not handball.
Did you go to Madrid?
No. We couldn't get tickets. A couple of mates of ours got over there. But,
I think it's the second that goal went in, the flights just went, didn't they? You were never going to get a ticket, never.
Well, it killed the game.
Yeah.
I've been abroad a couple of times, Dortmund and places like that. That's a cracking stadium, Dortmund. Amazing atmosphere, Dortmund. But a bit contrived. They tend to sort of make it the Great Yellow Wall, whatever they call it. They all stand there with big flags. Well, they've obviously been given those, or there's somebody from the club employed to wave them. Because the times I've been out there, when Spurs have scored, them flags carry on waving.
And they're still banging their drum.
So, it's not like normally the flags should go down, the drum will stop. It still carries on. So someone's there paid to do it or whatever. But it is an amazing football stadium.
Nice people as well.
They are nice people, yeah. Very much like us, the Germans. Very similar. Oh, they are very similar to us in their outlook.
What you guys make, just to end off everything on the big note, Spurs versus Man United as the first league game back for us. What do you think the result will be? And what do you make of this game coming into it?
Yeah, it's one of them games where it can go either way. I mean, if you look at in recent history, it's been a lot closely contested between the two. I think, obviously, through bias, we've got all our big players back. We've got Kane back, Sissoko, and all them. I think we can sort of control that midfield area a bit more. But Spursy, we're always Spursy. After being out for so long, you never know what team's going to turn up, and that's for both sides. Yeah. We've both got the quality, but it depends who turns up on the day, really.
Mm. Yeah, I've got us down to win it. I mean, I think we'll sneak it, to be honest. But then I always think Spurs are going to win at home anyway. I guess win your home games, get a draw against the tough games away, you not go far wrong. I made some notes this morning. We've got 9 games left, and I put down my prediction of 23 points out of 27. Probably optimistic.
Slightly, yeah.
But you know, all I've done is all wins apart from 2 draws. Sheffield United away, Newcastle away. I think we will struggle with. All the rest I put us down to win. But that's just bias, isn't it? That's how we are, isn't it?
I reckon we'll beat Arsenal.
I guess you've also got to look at the other teams. I heard a stat or something saying that Leicester have got to drop 10 points out of the rest of their games in order to drop out of the top 4.
Yeah, we rely on other clubs. I mean, we're 8th. We're 8th at the minute. And I think we're about 9 points off of Chelsea in 4th. So it's a lot for them to lose and for us to win. But I'm not going to give up hope, you know. I don't want to go into that Europa League, to be honest. I'd rather not even go.
I'd rather not be in it.
Yeah, I'd rather not. It seems like a distraction, that Europa League.
Any people that really want to be in it is like Wolves and Sheffield United.
Sheffield United. Yeah, it's European football for them, isn't it? Regardless if it's not the elite competition, it's still European football. And to be fair, I think they deserve to go. They've been quality this season. You know, they've especially Sheffield United. I mean, Wolves sort of done it last season. They've sort of just kicked on a bit more. But Sheffield United have come out of nowhere.
I think Wolves had a dodgy start as well because they started so early in the Europa League. They did have a dodgy start to the season, but they soon turned that round. But it's keeping hold of the players for them, though. That's the issue. Can they afford to keep hold of the players? As soon as the big boys come knocking, you know, it's not just a question of finance. It's also their ambition to go to another so-called bigger club.
They've got super agent George Mendes, haven't they, who's pretty much on the board or doing something on the administration.
Well, they've got a lot of Portuguese players, haven't they?
Yeah, like Neves and all that stuff. I mean, and they haven't gone anywhere. They did so well last season, and yet nobody was bought from Wolves. You know, even Adama Traoré, even Liverpool are looking at him at the moment. I think I think they're a unit at the moment. They're enjoying their football, and they're
doing well.
Why would you leave if you're moving up and up and up? Like
I think it's a case of if it's not broke, don't fix it. You know, whatever they're doing is clearly working. They're clearly happy with how they're plodding along. So why not stick with it?
You haven't really sold that many. Well, you know, since Bale, you haven't really sold that many players to like bigger clubs, have you? Really?
No, we've been known as a bit of a selling club, really. You know, you Modric, Berbatov, Bale, even Carrick. But I think as time's gone on, we've eventually asserted ourselves into that top 6. We've got on a better side.
That's the thing.
And especially with that Champions League final, that's just going to help us massively.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, it makes us look better than we are.
So the last few seasons, I've been sort of in top 4 or fighting for the title when Leicester won it. Probably had a good chance to win it then, to be honest. The players are not going to leave. New stadium coming, players are not going to leave. But it's a test now. Is when if we finish 8th or 7th, do we hold on to Kane? Do we hold on to them sort of players? You know, that's the issue. Not when you're doing well. The players don't leave when you're doing well. It's when you have a little. It'll be a test for Wolves if they have a bit of a blip and drop down to sort of like 8th, 10th. Will they hold on to their players? That's the thing. It's all right when you're at the top end. They're happy to stay because they can see things happening, can't they?
So, just to pretty much end it off now, where do you think Tottenham will finish in the league this season as a prediction, if you don't mind giving it some...
I'll try and do it with sensible head on and not, you know, I'll let my head rule my heart because I'll say 4th otherwise. But I don't think that's going to happen. Teams like Chelsea are doing well. They're going to have to drop too many points. Leicester don't seem like slipping up. So I would say we're going to finish, I'll probably say 6th, that kind of thing. We might sneak into a Europa League place, but I'd rather not go in the Europa League, to be honest.
I'd go up one more. I'd say 5th. You know, like you, I wouldn't. We're not going to get top 4. It's not in our hands. In other clubs' hands. I can't see them dropping any points. Yeah. I think even 5th's a push, but I don't see why we can't. As long as we do our bit and just hope for the best, really.
I will give you a prediction, Matt, that will probably shock you.
Go on, then.
I think Liverpool win the league.
Are you sure about that? Are you...
Well, I've got everything crossed. They lose all their remaining games and Man City win all theirs. I can't see it happening.
Could you imagine if they did lose all of their games and lost the Premier League? Could you imagine if you put as a bet?
Oh, it'd be
It'd
unbelievable.
it'd be quite funny, wouldn't it?
But all the Liverpool fans would say, "Oh, we should have not avoided it."
And next to win the league. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
So what do you make of the prediction of the game that we've got as well? Spurs versus United. What is your predictions?
I'm going to go 2-0 to Spurs.
2-1 Spurs.
2-1. I'm going to go with a draw. Just because it's the first game and I think it's going to be a bit shaky and I think there might be a few goals here and there for both teams. So I reckon a 2-2.
Yeah.
If it was Old Trafford,
not sure fitness levels, are we? So
if it was at Old Trafford, I'd definitely lean towards a United win. But the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, home crowd,
home crowd behind you.
It's going to be rocking.
The home microphones behind you.
Yeah. They'll have like the wrong like crowd on. They'll have like a crowd from, like you say,
yeah.
They'll be like,
yeah. Well, they said they was going to do it at the Emirates, but then they said no one would notice any difference. Or the Etihad, you could say that about either of those two places, couldn't you?
They can have fans because it's all right, isn't it? They ain't got that many, so they can just spread about all six.
No, that's right.
Well, if anything,
there's no crowd in there.
It goes into City's favour, really, because there's no one there anyway.
Yeah, they used to do it, yeah.
Yeah,
more.
Guys, thank you very much for joining us today.
No worries, mate.
I hope we can get you back on soon and some of the other guys as well and have a big old debate session of Premier League talk, etc., etc. Guys, have a wonderful weekend.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Matt. See you soon.
Bye.